Welcome to Clued in Mystery. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Brooke, and we both love mystery.
Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Sarah. How about we continue our conversations on culinary mysteries?
I think that would be wonderful, and I think we have a guest to help us with that today.
We do. Today, Jessica Thompson is joining us, and I'll just introduce her real quickly. When Jessica Thompson discovered mystery novels with recipes, she knew she had found her niche. Now, Jessica is the award winning author of the Amazon best-selling Caterer's Guide to Crime culinary cozy mystery series and the classic mystery Shoot, Shovel, and Shut Up. She also has curated 2 anthologies and been included in many others. She's active in her local writing community and volunteers as the finance chair of the Storymakers Guild. As an avid home chef and food science geek, Jessica has won cooking competitions and been featured in the online Taste of Home recipe collection. She also tends to be the go to source for recipes, taste testing, and food advice among her peers. Jessica lives outside Austin, Texas, with her husband and 2 children. When she's not writing or cooking, she likes getting her boots dirty with the family at her parents' nearby Longhorn Cattle Ranch. So, welcome, Jessica. We're so excited to talk to you about culinary cozy mysteries.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, Jessica, maybe we could get started with you sharing how you began writing cozy mysteries and culinary mysteries in particular.
Yeah, great. Basically, I started writing when I found the genre or the sub genre because I always loved mysteries and I always loved creating recipes, but I didn't know it was a genre. I mean, that's pretty obscure. So when I found a culinary cozy mystery with recipes in it at my local library, it was like, this is it. Clouds parted, choirs of angels, and it helps that it wasn't very good. So I won't say who wrote it. So then it was like, well, I could do better than this. So then I went for it.
That's awesome. Why do you think readers find mysteries about baking, cooking, and specialty foods so captivating?
I think just everybody loves food. I mean, even if you're not a big cook, you still love hearing about food, reading about food, looking at food. So I think even the people that don't want to try the recipes still like hearing about it in a story. And then I think also the kitchen is just rife with danger. So poisons, knives, dismembering, lots of cleaning up after yourself. So I think the kitchen lends itself well to murder mysteries too.
Absolutely. You mentioned people who don't even necessarily plan to cook the recipes. And Sarah and I talked about that in our episode last week, that we've known of people who will check out cookbooks from the library just to look at the beautiful pictures and read about the recipes, but not necessarily plan to cook them. So you have found that in culinary mysteries too, I assume.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I have friends that really don't cook, but they still like reading about the food and how it ties in and the life of a caterer, even if they don't plan to start catering.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the great things about any book, right? You can read about something that you don't really have a lot of experience in, but get to learn a little bit about that particular world.
You're right. It's like the universal fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
like any other fantasy. Ooh, I wish I could do that. Ooh, I wish I was eating that.
So tell us, Jessica, have you ever prepared a recipe that's come out of another culinary mystery? So not necessarily your books, but a culinary mystery written by somebody else. Have you made the recipe that's included?
Yeah, I think I have. Well, I know I have. I just can't remember which ones. It was a cookie. I think it was a cookie from a Joanne Fluke book. But usually I just read about it and go, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I love trying recipes from anything and everything.
So, Jessica, I also write cozy mysteries, and occasionally I'll give away a recipe or, add a recipe at the back of a food that was mentioned in the story. But my series isn't exactly culinary mysteries, they just mention food, right? So, what do you think is kind of that tipping point? How important is the culinary aspect? What does it need to contain in order to truly be a culinary
Hmm.
mystery?
Yeah, that's a good question because you're right. A lot of cozies will have like one recipe at the back. Maybe it's
Hmm.
like in mine, it's because she is a caterer, so she's constantly cooking. So it's like a series of events for a weekend is why she's involved in the mystery in the first place. So, like in my first book, even though someone dies, they're like, yeah, let's keep going. Let's carry on with the wedding anyway. But so then she's still cooking for like the next day's bachelorette party and bachelor party and then the actual wedding. So they're talking about suspects while they like need bread, things like that. So
Hmm.
definitely if the like setting is very culinary and what the characters are doing, because some places are like set in a bakery or set in a coffee shop. And I don't think they do that much cooking, but the setting makes it culinary. And mine, it's like woven into the plot. I guess that's what makes it a culinary.
Yeah, so that constant thread of discussing food and recipes and, like you said, the setting. I think that is it. It needs to be throughout the story, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And then mine have several recipes, so really, really driving that culinary cozy mystery home. But yeah, some are a culinary setting and just have one recipe, and those are still culinary. Yeah, yeah,
So it's a spectrum.
yeah. It's definitely a spectrum, as in all things.
Mhm.
Well, and just thinking about that spectrum. So where, Brooke was talking about her book isn't her series isn't a culinary series, but she includes recipes. And there are some books that have many recipes included with them. How do you find that balance so that you're not just publishing cookbooks, right? That there is that mystery as well as the food element that's central to the story.
Hmm. Um, I try to have a plot with a lot going on. My editor says I'm the queen of plotting and pacing. So I think having a lot going on, having an intricate mystery, uh, it's not just they cooked, then they sat down and ate. So it's like they're talking about the suspects and she needs bread. And then impossibly soon after that, she's putting the bread in the oven. It kind of montages over some of the cooking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's having a good plot. That's what I think.
Mhm. Yeah, I would agree that some culinary mysteries I've read have focused so much on the cooking aspect that I'll kind of lose the thread of the mystery. But I think you're right. If the mystery is the crux of the story and it's a great, intricate plot, then that's what keeps it moving for me.
Hmm. Yeah, me too. I like a good plot because so I start with the plot and then fit in recipes. So I'll have a bunch of recipes over here that I just developed whenever I felt like it, and then I'll start with a plot, like with an idea, and kind of plot the whole mystery, and then oh, I can plug this recipe into here, and then the next morning they're eating breakfast, so they'll eat this,
Oh,
that
that's
kind of thing.
nice. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great system.
Mm-hmm. So you start with your recipes and weave them into the story.
yeah. So the recipes are usually already made. Sometimes it's just an idea. and then yeah, I usually reverse engineer the plot and then fit in recipes whenever they fit.
That's fascinating. I think the fact that you develop your recipes from scratch is fascinating. I would venture to say that not all of us are that creative in the recipes that we include in the books. Do you test all your recipes then, I would assume?
Oh yeah. Usually 2, maybe 3 times if the second time didn't go well. So if it goes well, 2 times. If it doesn't go well, I don't know, it could be up to like 10 times. I think the cookie recipe in my first book, I tried lots of times to get it perfect. So yeah, usually I'll start with a jumping off point, an idea, and then I'll kind of write a rough idea for the recipe and then try to make it. And then after that first time, it's like, whoa, this goes totally different. And then I'll make it a second time and it's like, yeah, there it is.
That's great. That's great. That's some experience in the kitchen right there.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. And is there a particular type of recipe that you prefer to specialize in?
Yeah, I'll do like baking and cooking, sweet and savory, complicated and simple. I think there was one, like my bread recipe, I think has 4 ingredients. But there are ones like French macarons that have pages of instructions. Because if you want to get it right, those are finicky. So I don't know, whatever fits into the plot right then, you know. If she's whipping up breakfast for herself, it's probably going to be simple. But if she's making something for a wedding, it's fancier.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everything.
That's really fun. And I bet your friends and family were thrilled when you began writing these stories so that they can help be your taste testers.
That's right. Yeah, sometimes for my writing group, sometimes I'll bring a recipe that I'm like, I don't know, is this it? What does it need?
Oh, that's wonderful. So you said that you do include both cooking and baking recipes, sweet and savory. What's your favorite kind of things to cook or bake?
I think I like savory. I'm a savory person, and I'm now supposed to be avoiding sugar. I guess I've been testing too many recipes. But yeah, so yeah, I like savory because I really like spicy and foreign foods. Yeah. Like the second book, the Christmas book, had a lot of like savory noodle dishes and a lot of gluten-free options. Yeah, savory.
Fun.
Asian foods. That's my favorite.
So, Jessica, when we talk about readers of culinary mysteries, do you think that they expect like the murder method or the plot line to really revolve around the kitchen or culinary, or can it just be a backdrop? Do you know what I'm getting at there?
Hmm. I don't know what they expect because I'm just happy with whatever. Yeah, I should probably ask my newsletter people that, like, send out a poll. Do you expect it to be really kitchen centric?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like my Christmas one, they're all at a mountain retreat and get snowed in. So then they think it's poison, but it's not. Or not, it's not in the food. Anyway, so I don't know what they expect, but I don't expect that.
I like that the culinary aspect can turn into the red herring because that's
Yeah.
what you said. Like
Mm-hmm.
basically, so the expectation is, oh, this is going to be a poisoning, and then you turned that on its head. So that's really fun.
Yeah. It was a good way to make everyone kind of freak out. And then and then like, oh wait, no. Okay, we can calm down now.
So, Jessica, you spoke about, how kitchens are rife with danger. Is there anything in the kitchen that you think you would not include in a culinary mystery?
Ooh. Okay, so there are some poisons They are not cozy because I try to keep it realistic. So I'm probably never going to use arsenic because, how do I put this? It's messy, if you know what I mean, out both ends. So that's not cozy. So probably the heavy metal poisons. Well, I guess someone could have it slowly administered to them over time. Anyway, so some poisons. I try to go for the poisons that like suddenly strike. In my second one, it's this poison that if you get a small dose, it'll have messy consequences immediately. But if you get a really big dose, there are documented cases where it's like 12 hours later, you just drop dead.
Oh,
So it was like,
wow.
oh, I'm doing that. That's cozy.
Yeah. Well, good for you for having the research, behind you, because I think that's also something that can happen in amateur sleuth cozy stories is that there isn't enough research and background, and we just say, oh, arsenic, without looking at what would that really do to a person. So I think that's really smart.
Thank you.
So, Jessica, where can readers find you?
My books are all on Amazon. They're the Caterer's Guide to Crime series, and a good place to start. The first in the series, I wrote them out of order, so it's the most recent to come out, but it's the first book in the series in the characters' lives. The first book is A Caterer's Guide to Valentines and Violence, and you can find my website. It's jessicathompsonauthor.com. Or the social media I'm on the most is probably Instagram because pictures of food. And that's Jessica TH author. And I had to add a number 2 at the end because of incidents. Anyway, so Jessica TH author 2 on Instagram.
Well, that's wonderful. And we'll make sure that we include links to those in the show notes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us today. This has been really fun talking to someone who writes culinary mysteries.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us today on Clued in Mystery. I'm Brooke.
And I'm Sarah, and we both love mystery. Clued in Mystery is written and produced by Brooke Peterson and Sarah M. Stephen. Music is by Shane Ivers. If you liked what you heard, please consider telling a friend, leaving a review, or subscribing with your favorite podcast listening app. Visit our website at cluedinmystery.com to sign up for our newsletter, The Clued In Chronicle, or to join our paid membership, The Clued In Cartel. We're on social media at Clued In Mystery.